You may have realized that being healthy feels different than it did in the past now that you're over 50. If you want to maximize your health potential but don't have time to read through overwhelming pages of Google links, this is the show for you. Welcome to Healthy Tips After 50. We love doing the research, finding solutions, talking to health experts, and learning what works and what doesn't. Now, your host. She spent the last 25 years dedicated to feeling her best and is here to share her best findings with you, Susan Rosen.
Hello, everyone. This is your host, Susan Rosen, and I have a very fun and this is going to be so much fun today. Guest, her name is Dr. Danielle Peebles. Is that right? Peebles?
Correct. Peebles
is an author and chiropractic physician, and one of her major accomplishments has been her Pro Health Family Chiropractic, which was founded in 2007, a place where a patient will receive a unique and high-quality chiropractic experience. Here, the patient's healing needs and health goals are put first while trying to make the person feel better as quickly as possible. And from our little chat beforehand, it certainly sounds like she does that with all of her patients. So welcome, Danielle. I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rosen. How are you doing today?
Okay. Call me Susan, please.
Oh, Susan. Sorry.
Don't worry about
it. Not a problem.
So as long as I don't have to call you Dr. Peebles. Danielle.
We're friends now. Right? We're friends now.
Thank you. Exactly.
We bonded.
We have. We definitely have. So welcome. And why don't you tell us a little bit yourself, just what you were telling me about, your practice and really where you're coming from. Well, when you get started, everyone will see it. Just the energy and the oh God, my vocabulary is just like not here today.
Who needs it?
But anyways, yes, go for it.
So I'm Dr. Danielle Peebles. I am from St. Louis, Missouri. I practice in St. Louis. My office, as she's mentioned, is Pro Health Family Chiropractic. Mm-hmm. And I've been practicing for 12 years. Well, in private practice for 12 years. I've been practicing close to 14 years, taking care of patients, which I love. I love working with my patients. They excite me. Every time I adjust them and treat them, every day I am falling in love again with chiropractic and what I do with my patients. In my office, as she said in the intro, your experience is very unique. And the reason it's unique is because in addition to teaching you about your bodies, I give the experience of letting people know just how much I am able to do as a chiropractor. So I tell them I'm body whispering when I do this, but I'm reading their body based on what their body is telling me. That your body will snitch on you. If you did not know, your body snitches on you because it archives every event, everything you're doing every single day, it archives it. But guess what? I can pull it out and tell you what your archive says. It's like going back into the memory bank on the copying machine or on your disk drive. I can pull up the hard drive of your body and say, okay, so you've been sleeping on the sofa, haven't you? Oh, so how long have you been constipated? And they're like, what? How did you know that? And your body tells it all. So I have them lay on the table, not the bed. I promise it's not a bed in my office. Yeah. I have them laying on the table. Uh-huh. And sometimes they like to come in and purposely say, I'm not going to tell you what's wrong with me. I just want to see if you can figure it out. So now it's a game for them. And I call them, this is my party trick. This is my party trick here. I'll probably get kicked out the party, but this is my party trick. And so I'll go through their body and just the amazement from one particular patient comes to mind because I watch and I memorize how your body functions and what your body should look like and what it typically looks like. So one day this patient came in from the weekend. And I said, what did you do? Step in a hole? Your pelvis, you just threw this completely out. What have you been doing? And she was like, I did step in a hole. I forgot about the grass. I'm walking through the grass, carrying groceries, can't see over all the bags. And yes, I stepped in a hole that I know is in my yard. She was like, how? And I was like, your hips don't lie. I think that's what Shakira said. So I just go and fix it and put it back together.
That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Boy. Yeah. Like I said when we were chatting, I wish you were closer. I could use some of your help.
Yes. I would have to do that. But we have to get together somehow.
Yeah, I know. Do you ever come to California?
Right. Not enough.
Yeah, right.
I haven't
exactly.
been there in a few years now.
Oh, well,
but I feel like travel might be in my near future.
now that it's gotten easier, huh?
Yes, right.
Oh, still scary though, but yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, whole other subject. So we were also talking a little bit beforehand about in particular about people that are over 50, plus or minus, but more plus.
Yes.
And what do you see as the biggest issues that people that your over 50 patients and then just the whole over 50 crowd, kind of needs to watch out for? And
it's a huge mantra. I feel like a broken record in my office when I say this to all of my patients, but specifically my 50-year-olds, 50 plus crowd.
Yeah.
You have to stretch. You cannot just start your day without stretching. And they're like, but I know if you have a double-digit age number, you need to be stretching every day. Notice I didn't leave out the little babies. They think they're invincible. They're not invincible. You need to stretch. You need to warm your body up before you do things. And they're like, all I did was go walking. But did you use some muscles? Like, what did you use? Did you bat your eyelash to go walking? How did you do it? You walked, you used muscles. So you need to warm them up. And then when you warm it up, so for example, if you're cooking, you heat it up, you cook it, but they got to cool down so you can eat it, right? Warm up your muscles, use the muscles. Please do a cool down stretch so that they can recuperate and they can heal. And you're not coming in here talking about, I can't move my leg. And they're like, oh, well, if you're going to make it make sense like that.
Yeah, right.
But I'm constantly explaining to them the importance of stretching every day. It's not because you're getting old, well, partly, but it's not only that. It's because it's practical to stretch and make sure the muscles are ready to perform any action you want to. Your muscles need to be ready to sit down. I know that is a crazy concept, but the muscles are activated and they are working to keep you seated in that chair or sofa. They have to work to keep you there or else you'll pop back up. So you still need to work your muscles for sitting, standing, walking, and even simply breathing.
Okay. No,
and then I teach them how to stretch. Yes.
Yeah, interesting. So do you have a sheet of paper that you give them like, okay, this is the basics. You got to do these every day.
I am so hands-on with my patients. I do not give them a sheet. I teach them and then I make them do it in front of me. I say, now do it again. Okay. Do it again, because now you know what it feels like. You know what it should look like. It's easier for you to go and redo it at home if you've done it already. Yeah. So I give them 1 or 2 exercises at a time. Then when they come back, show me your exercise. Mm-hmm. And then they show it to me because they know I'm going to ask. And they'll say, I didn't do it. All right, you get ready to do it right now. So I turn it to their mother. I always mother my patients, especially my 50 and older. And they're like, I'm older than you. I was like, okay.
Yeah. And exactly. Your point is?
Now get over there and stretch. And I had one patient tell me, do you know I have socks older than you, little girl? And I was like, okay, go ahead and stretch. But we have fun in there.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Like I said, I wished you were closer. I would be in your office for sure.
Yes. And it's
Yeah.
interesting. The other thing that my patients love when they come there, besides me trying to boss them around, I'm not big as anything. Like, but if you ask me, I identify as a 6 foot tall person. I'm not
Okay.
5 feet. Okay. I'm not even 5 feet. But so they're just tickled that this little bitty short person is walking around there bossing them around. Like, do this, do that. I will thump you. You will fall over. Just have a seat. I'm taller than you when you lay on that table. Like, get on the table.
There you go. There you go. Exactly. That's that's really interesting. That is really interesting because I mean, just being on Zoom,
You can't
there's no
tell
way.
height.
No,
Right.
no, not at all. Not at all. And so that is kind of interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that's quite unique in my office, pardon me, is that most people associate chiropractic with the manual adjusting, or as they say, the
Right.
popping and the cracking. I've that's the first technique I've learned as a chiropractor or as a student going through chiropractic is how to manually adjust. And that will never leave me. I always have my hands, God willing. I have my hands and I can always take care of a patient. However, I try to appeal to the population of people who are a little hesitant about chiropractic, not to say anything about them not getting the manual adjustment, but just some people just have an aversion to, I don't want it, but yet their body needs to be realigned. So in my office, I am an activator methods doctor. I use a tool that is a blunt tip spring loaded. Some people say it look like a little pogo stick. Yeah. And so I use that and it just thumps the joint back in place. It doesn't generally hurt unless you're already sore to the touch. So patients tend, and you're laying there face down for 90% of the adjustment, which makes it less intimidating. So I'm not twisting and turning your neck. I just thump you on your neck. And then you get up and you can feel the difference. You can feel the muscles releasing, the joints moving. And it is amazing to people to say, oh, we can I can move already. Well, yes, that's what adjustments do. Restore motion into those joints.
Okay. Yeah. No, I remember, excuse me, I do remember having had that with the activator.
Yes.
That's been around a long time.
It has. I think they celebrated 50 years. I think they're 52. I think they're also 50, somewhere between, yes, it was a number I saw on page. But yes.
Yeah.
They've been around a long time.
No, it has. It has. Yeah. Yeah. And it did help. I always enjoyed going to the chiropractor. That was just, I don't know why. I think my chiropractor retired, I think is one of the reasons why I ended up stopping, not going anymore.
Understood.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, you know how that is. You make that relationship and then you trust the person.
And it's hard to transition. It's hard to find someone to fill that same void. And I had a lot of patients. There was one doc that retired and he sent his patients to me. And so there was that shift. They were not sure. So he was primarily manual. So there was she's using a different technique. I don't know. But a lot of them ended up like, oh, this is really great too. It does work. So I often educate people that there are just different techniques, but we are achieving the same goal. And so a lot of them ended up coming my way. And now you can't get them to leave my office. They're like, and then they tell me I can't go on vacation because I have to be available to them when they're ready for me. So yes, I understand that bond with your chiropractor. Like, that's my doctor. I mean, she might have other patients, but that's my doctor.
Yeah, exactly. When I call, she answers the phone. It's,
Exactly. Like they feel special. Like I hear her voice when I call her.
Yeah. No, exactly. Well, that's being human, right? I mean, correct. It's the people who we like and the people who we interact with and the people that we want to have help us are people that we resonate with.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you're obviously making that connection with people, which I can totally understand. And we're even on Zoom.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We've all gotten used to being on Zoom. Very strange. But anyways, so did you, speaking of which, just out of curiosity, how did the pandemic affect
my
you?
office?
I mean, yeah.
Actually, so a lot of people were wondering, what did my numbers do? My numbers actually tripled. They more than doubled. They practically tripled during COVID. I think it's because the patients that I already had prior to the pandemic, my patients saw me wiping down everything already. I was spraying everything, Lysol, everything. I was 2 seconds from spraying the patient. So they know I was a germaphobe prior to the COVID.
Yeah.
So when COVID hit, I was expecting my patients to say, no, I'm not coming in. In fact, they called me and said the opposite. I know you're going to be at that office, right? Because I'm coming to the office. And I just kind of felt like I had an obligation to go to the office because they just called me on my phone and told me, I know you're going to that office. I need my adjustments. And as they were coming in, they were bringing their family, people that were typically too busy or they were finding the time and they were coming in droves. And they were like, she does this. And so I made my office. I don't like waiting. I don't like going to doctor offices and having to wait. That's my pet peeve. So I try to run my office in that same fashion to go with my pet peeve. So I rarely have anyone sitting in my waiting room. You walk in that door, you walk into the table. And it's like that. You're walking past each other as you're going through my office. And so they felt comfortable with that since they didn't have to go through a lot of people just sitting around. And everyone was in separate rooms, doors, everything. So it worked for them. They were okay with the environment and they brought their babies in. Everybody was coming in.
Wow.
Yes. So the pandemic was actually very good to me. It was actually very good. I was able to maintain and actually grow a lot.
Wow. So have a lot of those people still stayed, the new people?
Yes, they still come.
Wow.
So I teach my patients when to come and when, because they often start, when people come to chiropractic, they think they have to keep going. So I tell them, okay, I'm working on this active treatment plan. And then once I get them to the point that they're doing better, I say, okay, now it's up to you. This is how you know when you need to get in here. If you're maintaining a pain, if you have a pain or stiffness or any discomfort that's lasting 3 days in a row, 3 days, more than 3 days, you need to get in and get adjusted. So I teach them when to come in versus making them stay. I don't want to make you come to me. I want you to want to come to me. So over that time, over just those 2 years, yes, life happens. And they will go on and live their life for a few months. And then they're like, oh, I cannot sleep. Dr. Peebles, please get me in. And they come back. And so the patients have been in and out, and it's a constant flow. Here's the other thing about my practice is I'm not full-time. I maintain a part-time practice intentionally. And so appointment slots are a premium. You got to get on that book and you want to try to stay in, because once you get off, it may be a week or two before I can get you back in. So patients would choose to stay routinely. Hey, put me on the books every 2 weeks, put me on the books. And then they are wanting to be there.
Right.
They don't like not fighting, but just vying for that particular slot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. So is there a whole other part of your life that's not related to chiropractic that you're doing, or?
Yes, I'm always reinventing myself.
Okay.
If you will. Right now I'm on a bowling kick.
Oh, wow.
Just, I've convinced I didn't have to work hard, but my mother and I are now on a bowling league. Yes, we get our behinds kicked and handed to us every week because these people, I asked them, I was like, how long you been bowling? Oh, I've been bowling for 56 years. I'm not, you've been bowling as long as I've been alive and then some. What? I've been bowling for 30 days. You've been bowling for 30 years. No wonder I can't quite match you. So needless to say, everybody on the league are 50 and older. See, I hang out with a lot of seasoned people all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. So bowling is this new thing I want to master right now. I have a 10-year-old daughter. I'm trying to master that, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, good luck with that one.
Thanks. Sounds so encouraging. But she's definitely...
Just remember how you were, I mean, give me a break. Right?
And then multiply that times 10, and that's my daughter. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
It's only your point of view.
True. And so I'm managing parenting outside of chiropractic and managing writing. I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I do have a book out and currently just working on some other pieces, just trying. I love writing myself. So, and teaching, I love teaching. So I've been teaching for the past 9 years. I just recently put a pause to it, just staying in the practice and focusing more on that. But teaching does not get away from me. It's just now it's in different facets that I'm teaching. I'm always teaching my patients, but now I'm doing the podcast. I'm showing up and doing more public speaking, although I have been doing some, but now I'm increasing so that I can get out and teach more about chiropractic and how to take care of your body, how to advocate for yourself in the healthcare system.
Yeah. Well, that's a lifetime job, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Yeah. Don't even get me started on that. Excuse me. So what, other than stretching, what other, types of things would you suggest, for people that are watching, listening, watching, whatever? Yeah.
Absolutely encourage everyone to get adjusted. I'm just getting adjusted. Why? Because it is going to improve more than just your range of motion, more than just soreness. It improves your overall quality of life because it impacts every system of your body. So, for example, if you are a person that generally gets winded, now, every time I mention to a patient, I say, do you get winded with certain activities? And so many people like to respond with, I've gained weight, I'm fat. Well, that may be true in your world, but there are still certain activities you shouldn't get as easily winded. And so then I teach them that their correlation of their soreness is actually tied to that symptom of getting winded. So for example, with the windedness, if you're finding that you're having a tightness or pain or discomfort where your neck meets your shoulders, meets your back, that area specifically, that nerve root that come out right there causes short-windedness. It causes shortness of breath. But guess what else that nerve root causes? It also sends pain signals to your elbow, wrist, hands, and fingers. So if you're noticing some issues with that and you're getting winded, you need to go see the chiropractor. And so that's why getting adjusted on a regular basis would just give you so much more capacity to be able to do the things that you like to do and the things that you will want to try. I have patients. So this is going to be fun. I always got to make it fun. I do have patients that are in the 50 older and saying, Dr. Peebles, hey, like one guy comes in, he's like, hey, okay.
He's what?
Can you help my stuff? Can you help my erectile dysfunction? Yeah. Like I'm having some issues. It's not coming up when I want it to come up. Yeah. I said, okay. Because it was something that was relatively new. Now, of course, I want men to go get the prostate checked, but also getting your lower back adjusted. If you're noticing tightness down there, tightness in the lower back can affect your sexual organs, male and female. It will impact it. So we have this joking manner with some of my patients, especially the ones that have read my book. They say, hey, check my L3 because the nerve root there, when with adjustments to that area, is going to impact the nerve root that addresses your bladder. So the bladder control, it controls the knees. So if you're having knee pain on a regular basis, people that are still having, that wants to vaginal secretions, all the sexual organs, that's the same nerve root. So I'm always checking that because that is part of our livelihood as well. We can't ignore that part of our life and think we're going to still be super happy. Yeah. It's all there. So yes, definitely get adjusted in addition to getting in addition to stretching regularly. Yes.
Interesting. Okay. And is there some, if people don't know directly any chiropractors, or if, or they're not friends with somebody who goes to a chiropractor in their area already, is there some kind of a
directory?
Directory or, place that you can, rather than just looking somebody up in the phone book,
Well, yes, there are. Now, I'm biased, so I'm going to definitely say go to activatormethods.com.
Okay.
Because that's one, but they focus on activator methods. These are doctors that do activator methods. So that's what the little pogo stick I was describing to you.
Yeah.
But if you're in a town that is near a chiropractic school, like if you Google and if there's a chiropractic school nearby, start with them. Okay. And in fact, go to the clinic, go to the student clinic, because then you can learn more about the experience of chiropractic and other options, and then branch out from there. That's one way to do it. But you may have to simply start Googling, but ask questions. Just because you Google the chiropractor and you call them, ask them, do you have a consultation where I can just come in and speak with you? Not necessarily just start treatment, but come in and speak with you, and I have questions. And should you come across the right person, you should be able to just come in and speak with them and learn and see if that's the right chiropractor. And just, it's like dating.
Well, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, because that's how it is with doctors.
Absolutely.
Any kind of doctor.
Any kind of doctor. You have to make sure that there's the right energy. I may be too much for a patient. Like I'm just way too happy for some people. Especially at 2:00 in the afternoon, they were like, please bring it down. And so I may not be the person. I may not be the doctor for that patient. I just, I bring too much bubbles to the office. Like that's too much for them. Whereas I may be just right for someone who needs the excitement, who needs something that breaks away from their routine. Right.
The energy level. Yeah.
You have to go and meet the chiropractor and see if that's someone you can work with. Check out their websites. See what their websites are showing. I've had patients come in as new patients say, I saw your website and I loved what I saw, and that made me want to come in. I felt like you would be very understanding and empathetic with me because they had something on the mental awareness front going on.
Okay.
Our energy transcends more than just face to face. Your energy does come across your website. And so she felt my energy through the website. She said, okay, you know what? She may be able to understand. I may be able to be comfortable with speaking about my sensitive issues. And she did. She came in, she felt good. And that allowing someone to be in your vulnerable space takes a lot of braveness. So for her to feel comfortable to let me in, that allows me to be my best doctor for her.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
So definitely go and talk and meet the doctor before you start any treatment with any. And that's not just for chiropractors, that's with any doctor.
Yeah. No, I know I've been through a number a number of doctors. My GP retired, and since then I've been through 2 or 3 different doctors. I belong to one of those big organizations.
Oh, got it.
Kind of
The
thing.
group doctors.
Yeah. So that's been that's been interesting. Still haven't found anybody. We'll see.
Yeah.
But anyways, so there's something else I was going to ask you about, and I can't remember what it was. Oh well, that's my other issue. Any suggestions for brain problems or memory and all of those
someone
things
else to help
us older?
Get someone else to help you remember. Because I am notorious. My mother say, you can't remember anything. I say, that's why I have you. I tell you, you remember, and then I tell you to recall it for me. I have so much going on. I can't remember it all. Yeah, get you someone else to do it. I have a good friend. I call her my hard drive because she can pull up everything. She said, no, this is what you said. This is what you were wearing.
Wow.
This is what your hair looked like when you did it. I say, oh, perfect. Now that you said that, I do remember that now.
I used to be like that.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Now you need to recruit someone else who has the time.
Well, that's what my husband is. It's like, well, don't you remember that? It's like, give me a few minutes. Maybe.
Sometimes I find it easy, and I'm telling on myself. Sometimes I find it easier to just say, no, I don't remember, because I don't want to think about it. It's being lazy. I know it is. And he's like, don't you remember? Nope. Not at all. And then when they get into it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, and then you did this, and then I'm like, but you said you didn't remember. Oops.
You reminded me. You reminded me.
You reminded me. I didn't want to remember, but you brought it out. Yeah, that's what I do.
Oh well, that's okay. These days, I'm not sure. There's probably a lot of shit that we don't want to be remembering.
Absolutely. I put it in that little dark space and hide it.
I know. Yeah, I know. Don't even get me started on all that stuff. Okay.
Yes.
But anyways, well, excuse me. Boy, this has been such a pleasure. It's really I enjoyed connecting with you, and for me personally, being reminded of when I used to go for chiropractic and how helpful it was.
Yes.
So I have to go find out if I can even get chiropractic through Kaiser, but we'll see.
I was gonna say I think you can, but don't quote me. I'm trying to remember what I heard about Kaiser and chiropractic, but I think they do have it, but don't quote me. It's been some years since I've had that conversation. No, exactly. So yeah, they probably do. That'll be an interesting conversation. Okay. With them. So thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for having me. I've had fun.
Do you have any final wrap up, for people just to kind of take away from the conversation? And
yes. The main thing I want to encourage and just remind you to do is go get adjusted. Your spinal health is an indication of your overall health, and you want to improve and maintain the best quality of life that you can. So make chiropractic a part of your care regimen. Yeah, no, definitely. So, and for those of us that are much older than 50, I believe Medicare covers a lot of it. So yes, it does cover. And even if there's an office that doesn't take that particular insurance, be sure to ask them, what do they have to offer for those who are paying out of pocket? It's not always as expensive as you may think, They may have payment plans. They may have a sliding fee scale. So you don't know unless you ask, but definitely ask, and don't just take the first answer they give you about the money. They may say, oh, it's this. Oh, you don't have that? Then it's this. Just ask more questions. All they can do is say no. And then you just move on to the next chiropractor that you're particularly interested in finding more out about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, which makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Particularly because the over 65, I guess, is a very large group.
It is.
You know, it's the old
baby boomers, they say.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. But I was thinking of that picture of the snake, and it ate a big rat, and it's just kind of making its way through the whole the whole rest of the snake. Yeah, we're kind of like that.
Oh, I like marinating for better. I usually say to my patients, you just marinated in life a little longer. You're more seasoned.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more seasoned.
Oh, no, exactly. I'm just saying as far as how organizations deal with us.
I know,
right?
And it
because
bothers
we're this huge number, and after us is a much smaller number.
Yeah.
And so a lot of organizations they have a hard time gearing up for the bigger group, and then they end up having to lay people off as the group goes by.
Right. Yes. But yeah, and you brought up, you triggered a topic in my head, and I won't hold you, but
that's okay.
Another thing that my seasoned group of patients tend to love about coming to the chiropractic office is that they have confirmation for what they are feeling. Because a lot of times their symptoms, their complaints go ignored.
Yeah. Or poo-poo.
They're like, oh, well, you're getting old. Well, that's not the answer for everything. So in my office, they actually have a voice, and I help them understand that, okay, what you're feeling is associated with this. Have you noticed this symptom? And then they're like, yes, I did notice it. Those two are tied together. Let's work on it. Let's improve it. And as each time they come in, they say, yes, I am doing this better. Oh, I don't have this anymore. I'm not having as much dry skin. So you have your voice is heard better in an arena that can see you more frequently than one that doesn't see you as often. So that's another reason to definitely get adjusted.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. No, and I can identify with the dry skin for sure. I was just thinking about that the other day. It's like,
but you know what? I'll ask you this, since you can identify with the dry skin. Have you noticed any tightness or any discomfort in the bra line area, the area where the bra line hits your back?
Not really. Itchy.
So that area, there's a nerve root that come out there that is directly associated with skin conditions such as dryness and dehydration, eczema, acne, and slow healing bruises. And so that
I have too. Yeah.
Oh, then if you're not, you should be off this air and going to the chiropractor. You need to be running or walking really fast to the chiropractor.
But stretch first, right?
Stretch first. Stretch before you walk really fast to the chiropractor. Yes. Your mid-back area needs to be lined up to help.
Yeah. Oh that. No, that would make a lot of sense, because a few years ago, right before about 6 months before the pandemic, I actually took a fall, which I do quite a bit, but this was a major one. And I broke my collarbone. Yeah,
you didn't think you needed that?
Huh?
You didn't think you needed the collarbone?
Well, with all the falls and everything else that I've done, it's first time in my life that I ever broke anything.
Oh, wow.
Bruises, strains, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure. First time my whole life I did that. And as far as breaking my collarbone, I did it in the best place, if there is a best place,
Right.
at the very end where it connects to the shoulder, I guess it is, to the shoulder. And there's that thing and there's all these ligaments and everything around it. That's where I cracked it.
Okay.
I
yes.
broke a couple of pieces, but so it never moved.
Okay. So here's the thing.
But the problem is that my shoulders never come back all the way. So because I hit the pandemic and I couldn't get
out. Right. Well, a lot of people don't realize that their shoulder movement is also directly tied to their lower back and tightness.
Oh, that makes sense.
So there's a muscle there. There's a huge muscle that attaches from the shoulder to the lower back that connects it. And with you having fallen, you threw a lot of things out of alignment.
Oh my God, yeah.
And so it's just so important, especially with my season. Whenever anyone falls and they say, oh, I fell and I hit the floor, but it wasn't that bad. I got right up. Well, I put it to them like this. The floor is solid. Who do you think bounced from the move? The floor or you? Yes, you're hurt. You bounced. If you're not down there playing pick up marbles, then please stay off the floor. But whenever you do hit the floor, you really need to get those joints lined back up, because it is going to create a cascade of discomfort and cascade of symptoms, depending on what hit the floor first. And then the longer it stays unchecked, then more things will occur. So definitely. And I tell my patients also, even if you didn't hit the floor, some of them say, well, I caught myself, but you just twisted like a tree in the wind to stop from falling. That's the same injury. You still whipped some things around and still hurt yourself, even though you never came in contact with something.
Well, you came, but you also pulled.
And you pulled things.
Stopping or whatever to hold on to something to not go down, right?
Right.
It's
so you just everything.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't think of it that way, but I break all that down to them. And then they're like, oh, okay. So that may be why my ear hurt, my jaw hurts. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's my other TMJ.
You need to come to St. Louis.
I guess so.
You need to come to St. Louis for at least 1 week. Give me 1 week with you, and I can have you better than when you came in. Like, I just need a week. Just take a vacation, come to St. Louis for a week, check out the sights and sounds, and get adjusted while you're here. Oh. That should be a part of your vacation. And then you go back and you're feeling amazing. You saw the arch.
I hate to tell you, I just never had a real tug to go see St. Louis.
Oh, that just broke my heart.
But now maybe now
there's me.
That's right, now. Exactly. Maybe we can meet somewhere in the middle.
Okay,
so have a vacation,
right? That would be quite a thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! But yes,
anyway,
definitely. Care for it.
This has been really a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you coming on. I'm glad that whoever it was that was doing some promotion out there for you found my website or found my podcast.
Yes. Yes. I would definitely tell them thank you again. I've enjoyed it as well, and I just wish you all the best with all the future podcast episodes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome.
Excuse me. Oh, well, allergies. Which I'm sure you could handle as well. You could help with that too.
Of course.
Of course. Exactly. So let me just wrap up and say that neither of us are doctors, although you are a doctor, but it's not a podcast doctor.
Correct.
Yes. And this is not to be seen as medical advice.
No.
If you are having issues, please go to your own doctor, find yourself a chiropractor to go to, or whatever, go to the emergency room if that's what's going on. And with all of that being said, thank you again, and I will see all of you next week.
Take care.
This has been Healthy Tips After 50 with Susan Rosen. To stay on the cutting edge of the most effective health strategies, subscribe to this podcast and let us know what you thought of the show with a comment or like on iTunes. Visit healthytipsafter50.com for this episode's show notes, more resources, and free offers.